Have you ever looked at your bank account and felt your chest tighten for a second? You work hard. You stay awake at night. You sacrifice comfort. And still, somehow, money disappears faster than it comes. One bill after another. One emergency after another. One unexpected expense after another. And slowly, without realizing it, you stop dreaming. You stop believing that life can actually change. Because deep down, you start thinking, maybe this is just how life is supposed to be. But what if I told you that millions of people are trapped in a system designed to keep them financially exhausted? Not lazy, not stupid, not untalented, just distracted, manipulated, and financially programmed. Today, we're going to uncover the real reason why so many people stay broke, even in the richest country on earth. And by the end of this video, you may never look at money the same way again. Most people think being broke happens overnight. It doesn't. It happens silently. A coffee here, a subscription there, food delivery, impulse shopping, buy now, pay later, credit card debt, small leaks, every single day. And the dangerous part is, modern society normalizes it. They tell you, treat yourself. You deserve it. Live in the moment. But nobody teaches you delayed gratification anymore. Because discipline doesn't make corporations rich. Your impulses do. Think about it. Every app on your phone is competing for one thing: your attention and your wallet. The moment you wake up, companies are already trying to sell you something. A lifestyle, a trend, a fake version of success. And slowly, people become addicted to looking rich instead of becoming rich. That's why someone making $100,000 a year can still live paycheck to paycheck. Because income is useless without control. Let that sink in. Money problems are not always about money. Sometimes they're emotional. Many people spend money because they're stressed, lonely, depressed, empty. Shopping gives temporary dopamine. Luxury gives temporary validation. But temporary feelings create permanent financial damage. And social media made this worse. Every day, people see influencers driving luxury cars, flying first class, wearing designer clothes. But what they don't see is the debt, the fake rentals, the pressure, the emptiness behind the camera. Comparison is financially deadly, because once you start competing with other people's lifestyles, you lose control of your own future. And this is exactly how financial traps begin. A person buys things they don't need, with money they don't have. To impress people who don't even care. That's not freedom. That's modern slavery. Here's something most schools never teach. Debt is one of the biggest businesses in America. Credit cards, student loans, car payments, mortgages. The system profits when people stay in debt, because a person buried in bills becomes easier to control. Think about it. When someone is financially desperate, they tolerate toxic jobs, toxic environments, toxic lifestyles. Why? Because survival becomes more important than freedom. And that fear keeps millions trapped for decades. The scary part is, many people never escape. They work for 40 years, retire exhausted, and still struggle financially. Not because they failed, because nobody taught them the rules of money early enough. Society tells people, work harder. But very few people say, learn smarter. Because money today is no longer only about physical labor. It's about knowledge. The internet created opportunities that never existed before. People are building businesses from bedrooms, making money with content, selling digital products, learning high-income skills online. Meanwhile, others spend 8 hours scrolling every day. Same internet, different mindset, different future. And this is where life changes. The moment someone stops consuming endlessly and starts learning intentionally, that's when financial power begins, not overnight, but slowly, one skill at a time, one habit at a time, one disciplined decision at a time. Nobody is coming to save you, not the government, not your boss, not luck. And honestly, that realization is painful, but it's also powerful, because the moment you stop waiting for rescue, you finally take control. Most successful people were not born confident. They were terrified, but they kept moving anyway. While others complained, they learned While others wasted time, they built. While others chased appearances, they chased freedom. And eventually, their lives separated completely because small daily choices create massive long-term consequences. Right now, somewhere in the world, someone with less talent than you is becoming financially free, not because they're special, because they became disciplined. And maybe this video found you for a reason. Maybe this is the moment you stop surviving and start rebuilding your future. Because 1 year from now, your entire life can look different. But only if you make a decision today, a decision to stop escaping reality and start facing it. The money problem isn't only outside. Sometimes it starts inside the mind. And once the mindset changes, everything changes. Do you know what's terrifying? Most people don't realize they're losing financially until it's too late. Not because they're irresponsible, but because modern life is designed to keep people distracted. The average person wakes up tired, goes to a job they hate, comes home mentally exhausted, and escapes through entertainment. Netflix, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube Shorts. Hours disappear, days disappear, years disappear, and during all that time, their dreams slowly die in silence, not dramatically, quietly. That's the real tragedy, because financial poverty rarely begins in the wallet. It begins in the mind. The moment a person starts believing, this is probably all life has for me, that thought alone destroys more futures than failure ever could. People think comfort is safe. It's not. Comfort can quietly ruin an entire life, because growth feels uncomfortable. Learning new skills feels uncomfortable. Starting a business feels uncomfortable. Taking risks feels uncomfortable. But staying broke for 20 years should feel uncomfortable too. Yet millions normalize struggle. They normalize stress headaches, overdue bills, anxiety before checking bank accounts, and eventually, suffering becomes routine. That's dangerous, because humans adapt to almost anything, even financial pain. And once someone adapts to surviving, they stop aiming for freedom. The rich think differently. Poor people ask, how much does it cost? Wealthy people ask, how much can this make me? That mindset changes everything. Most people spend money to look successful. Rich people spend money to become more valuable. Books, skills, networking, investments, businesses. That's why wealth grows silently at first. Nobody notices the late nights, the sacrifices, the discipline. People only notice the success later, and then they call it luck. But success almost never looks glamorous in the beginning. In the beginning, it looks lonely. This generation has access to unlimited information, and somehow, most people are still lost, because information means nothing without action. Right now, one person is learning marketing online. Another person is learning video editing. Another is building an online store. Another is creating content that reaches millions. Meanwhile, someone else spends the same 5 hours arguing in comment sections. Same 24 hours. Different choices, different destiny. And this is why the gap between successful people and average people is growing faster than ever before. Because technology rewards focus, but destroys the distracted. Why people stay stuck. Here's the painful truth nobody wants to hear. Some people don't actually want freedom. They want comfort disguised as ambition. They say they want success, but avoid sacrifice. They say they want money, but fear discipline. They say they want change, but repeat the same habits daily. And habits create identity. If someone keeps making poor decisions long enough, they eventually believe that struggle is who they are. That's why mindset matters so much. Because before life changes externally, it changes internally first. It's not fast food. It's not luxury clothes. It's not expensive phones. The most dangerous expense is wasted time. Because money can return, time cannot. Every year people delay learning valuable skills. They lose opportunities they'll never even realize existed. And one day, reality hits hard. Friends move ahead. Younger people become successful faster. Life gets more expensive, and suddenly, panic begins. That's why starting late is still better than never starting at all. One decision today can completely change the next 5 years of your life. There comes a point in every successful person's life where excuses stop working. A moment where they look at themselves honestly and say, "I can't keep living like this." That moment is powerful because pain can destroy a person or transform them. Some people use pain as an excuse to quit. Others use pain as fuel. And history always remembers the second group. Nobody becomes financially free accidentally. It happens through repetition. Reading when others scroll, saving when others flex, working when others procrastinate. Small choices, repeated daily. That's how ordinary people build extraordinary lives. Not through magic, through consistency. And the crazy part is, most people already know what they need to do. Wake up earlier, learn more, spend less, focus harder, but knowing is different from executing. That's where discipline separates people. Imagine being completely financially free someday. No panic when bills arrive, no fear checking your account, no begging for vacation days, no surviving paycheck to paycheck. Imagine waking up peacefully for the first time in years. That feeling, that freedom is possible. But only for people willing to become uncomfortable long enough to grow. Because the future rewards discipline today, not intentions, not excuses, discipline. 5 years from now, you will either thank yourself or regret yourself. Your habits today are quietly building your future life. So the real question is, what kind of future are you creating right now? There's a moment in life that changes people forever. A moment when reality punches harder than motivation ever could. For some people, it happens when they can't pay rent. For others, it happens in a hospital room, a phone call, a breakup, a job loss, a family emergency, and suddenly, everything they ignored becomes impossible to ignore. Because struggle feels different when survival becomes real. That's when people finally understand something powerful. Money doesn't buy happiness, but lack of money can destroy peace. And peace is everything. The hidden cost of being broke. Nobody talks enough about the emotional damage of financial stress, the anxiety, the sleepless nights, the constant overthinking. People laugh in public, while silently drowning inside. They pretend everything is okay, while calculating bills in their heads every single day. And eventually, stress changes people. It steals confidence. It steals energy. It steals hope. That's why financial problems are never only financial. They become mental, emotional, spiritual. A person exhausted by survival cannot think clearly about the future, and the system knows that. Years ago, people feared dangerous drugs. Today, people are addicted to distraction, scrolling endlessly, watching other people live, consuming without creating. And the scariest part, it feels normal. Most people no longer sit alone with their thoughts, because silence forces honesty, and honesty is uncomfortable. It forces people to admit, I wasted time. I ignored opportunities. I became lazy. I lost focus. That truth hurts. But denial destroys lives even faster. Here's something school rarely teaches. The world doesn't pay people for effort alone. It pays people for value. A person who solves bigger problems usually earns more money. That's why skills matter so much now. Communication, marketing, sales, content creation, coding, editing, business. These skills changed ordinary people's lives completely, and the internet made learning them almost free. Imagine telling someone 30 years ago that a teenager with a laptop could build $1 million business from a bedroom. They wouldn't believe it. But now it happens every day, which means something important. This may be the greatest opportunity period in human history, but only for those willing to focus. The painful difference between people. Two people can start at the same place and end up in completely different worlds. One chooses comfort every day. The other chooses growth. One spends years entertaining themselves. The other spends years building themselves. And after enough time, their lives become unrecognizable from each other. That's the power of daily habits. People underestimate how small decisions compound over time. 1 hour wasted daily becomes years lost. One productive habit daily becomes a completely different future. Because they wait for motivation. But motivation is temporary. Discipline is what changes lives. Nobody feels motivated every morning. Successful people work even when they don't feel like it. That's the difference. Average people rely on emotions. Powerful people rely on systems. And once someone understands that, everything changes. At some point, every person chooses one of two pains: the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. Discipline hurts temporarily, regret hurts for life, and regret becomes heavier with age. Because one day people wake up and realize they had dreams once, big dreams, but fear, comfort, and distraction slowly killed them. Not in one day, in small moments repeated for years. Sometimes losing everything becomes the beginning of everything, because pain forces transformation. A broke person can become wealthy. A lost person can become focused. A weak person can become unstoppable, but only after taking responsibility. Not blame, responsibility. That's where power begins. The moment someone says, "My future is my responsibility," that sentence alone can change an entire bloodline. Imagine your future self watching you right now, watching your habits, watching your excuses, watching your discipline or lack of it. Would they be proud or disappointed? Because the life you dream about is being built by the decisions you make today, not tomorrow, today, and maybe years from now. You'll look back at this exact moment as the turning point, the moment you stopped surviving and started rebuilding your life. One day, you realize nobody is coming, no miracle, no perfect timing, no magical opportunity falling from the sky. Just you, your choices, your habits, your discipline, and strangely, that realization becomes freedom. Because the moment you stop waiting for someone else to change your life, you finally begin changing it yourself. The night everything changes. There's a special kind of loneliness people feel when they decide to rebuild their life, because growth separates you from old versions of yourself. Suddenly, you stop wasting hours scrolling. You stop chasing fake validation. You stop trying to impress people who were never helping you anyway. And people notice. Some will laugh at your ambition. Some will doubt your vision. Some will secretly hope you fail, because your growth reminds them of their own excuses. But keep going, because every successful person was misunderstood before they were respected. Most people never start because they think success requires giant steps. It doesn't. Sometimes success begins with tiny decisions. Waking up earlier, reading 10 pages a day, learning one skill consistently, saving money instead of wasting it, posting your first video, starting before feeling ready. Tiny actions, repeated daily. That's how lives transform, not through motivation videos alone, but through execution. Because information without action changes nothing. The hardest part isn't working hard. It's continuing when nobody notices your effort. When views are low, when money is slow, when progress feels invisible. That phase breaks most people, because humans crave immediate rewards. But real success is delayed, and that's why patience became a superpower in modern society. Most people quit too early, right before life was about to change. Average feels safe. That's why so many people stay there forever. Average dreams, average habits, average discipline, but average comes with a hidden price. A lifetime of what if. What if they tried harder? What if they stayed focused? What if they believed in themselves earlier? That regret destroys people slowly, not outside, inside. And the older someone gets, the heavier that feeling becomes. Money is time. Money is freedom. Money is choices. The ability to help your family, travel freely, sleep peacefully, live without constant fear. That's why financial freedom matters, not for luxury alone, but for peace. And peace is priceless. Right now, somebody younger than you is building their future. Somebody older than you is starting over from zero. Somebody with fewer resources is refusing to quit. So never tell yourself it's too late. The truth is, most people lose long before failure ever happens. They lose when they stop believing change is possible. And once belief dies, potential dies with it. Years from now, you will either remember this period as the years I made excuses, or the years I changed my entire life. That decision is happening right now, in the habits nobody sees, in the discipline nobody applauds, in the sacrifices nobody understands, because greatness is built in silence first. And one day, the same people who ignored you will ask how you did it, but they won't see the nights you stayed focused, while everyone else slept. They won't see the self-doubt you fought privately. They'll only see the result. That's how success works. So if you're struggling financially right now, don't let that become your identity. This chapter is not your final story. You can rebuild. You can restart. You can recover. One decision, one habit, one focused year can completely transform your future. And maybe the person watching this video today will become someone unrecognizable a few years from now. Stronger, smarter, disciplined, free. The question is, will you keep repeating the same cycle, or will today become the day everything changes? If this video opened your eyes even a little, then don't just scroll away. Hit that like button, because someone else needs to hear this message too. Subscribe to the channel for more powerful videos about money, mindset, success, and self-discipline that can truly change your life. And comment below, I will rebuild my life, because your new journey starts the moment you decide not to quit. See you in the next video.